and still is the most important thing we do. So the chairman and co-CEO of Salesforce has shared it, and there is no doubt about it. As I told you, that once you have the right talent in place and you groom that talent, then he or she is definitely going to give the result to the business as such. Then if you look at the thoughts shared by Steve Jobs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the secret of my success is that we have gone to exceptional lengths to hire the best people in the world, right? So it is the people who can make a company or who can break a company, because every other resource is available, but it is the commitment, it is the talent, and it is the experience, and it is the loyalty of an employee which makes the company a great place. Okay, so if we go to such, I have kept 3-4 such thoughts so that we set the context and understand that why the attracting talent and recruitment of such talent is important for any organization. Next please. So our people are our greatest asset, and we are constantly trying to attract and retain high quality talent. So the thought has come from company Deloitte. We know that there are some great companies which we hear about, and many of us have a dream to join such companies, right? But who makes the company? It is the people, it is the talent, because company is an artificial person, we know, we all have studied, but it is the group of people which make the company a great place. Next please. Yeah, another great thought, human resource is not a thing we do, it is the thing that runs our business. And here I would like to draw your attention that during this experience of 10 years, I have attended many business review meetings in all my employers, in companies. What I have seen is, in the starting of the meeting, the first thing is about the recruitment or the talent. Why? Because if you fill your vacancies on time, if you bring the right talent at the place, so business leaders are happy with that. And if you do all the other HR activities and don't fill the vacancy on time or don't bring the right person on the board, then there is something which is missing. I'm not undermining other HR aspects here, but what I'm trying to say is, if you bring the right person at the right job, this is one of the most crucial job of an HR professional. Next please. So the market for talent is competitive. As I told you, every company wants that we should hire a great talent. Every company is aspiring for that. So you as an employer or I as an employer have to be remarkable, right? I have to do something different so that I can attract talent from the market. But then we all already know about it, right? So we know that getting talent from market is tough. We have to go extra mile to do that. But then how to do it, that we will cover in the upcoming slides. Next please. Right, so the question is, how do you find talent, or more importantly, how do you attract talent? So there is a difference between these two. In the first point, how do you find talent, somewhere you are pushing the things, and in the second line, how do you attract, you are pulling the things, right? You are pulling people for your company. Why? Because you have made employer brand at such a level that people are getting attracting for your company, right? For a particular company. And second aspect is, how does talent find you, right? So many of you who are in campus, they see a dream from first year, second year, or sometimes in engineering third or fourth year, that I should aspire to go for that particular company. So how this thought comes in the mind? The thought comes from the employer branding, right? From the brand which they see, they realize that we should also join such organization. Next please. Now here I would spend some time, because the decision making to change a job is very crucial, right? So you might have seen your friends, your colleagues who are making up their mind for changing the job, but it's not so easy, right? Some of you also might have experienced, when we try to switch from one company to another, there are a lot of anxiety, lot of insecurity, whether I will be able to cope up with the new environment, what kind of superior I'm gonna get there, right? What kind of support I will get, because when you work with a company for some time, you get acquainted with the process, you get, familiar with other colleagues, so you feel that you are getting it easy to get things done. But when you switch from one place to another, it is completely a new place, and it takes time to build relation with the team and to understand the whole process. So here I will cover 7 aspects, right? 7 stages, that how a person consider a change to the level of how that person physically appears at the new job, right? So the first point is consider a change. So if I am working with a particular company, now I have to make up a mind that I should change. So that is the first thing. And from where this first thing will come, either there are certain problem going on with my with my current employer or with my current superior, or there are certain challenges which I am facing, which I am not able to overcome in spite of my all the tries, whatever efforts I could put. So this is the time, in HR we call it as a trigger, right? So sometimes there are small triggers, sometimes there is a bigger trigger. So when you have a triggers back to back, then you consider a change in your mind as a candidate, that I should move to the next job. Now next point is consider your company. So suppose I as a candidate, I make up my mind that I should change. But then if I talk about building material industry where I'm working in, so there are more than 10 companies which are in the market. Then what company should I consider for changing my job at this moment? So here your employer branding will come into the picture, right? How are you, how you are perceived in the market, how you are perceived in the mind of people who are working in the market. So here I will cover in the next slides that how you can work on your employer branding. Then third and very important thing is consider a position. So there may be company which is a great company and which is of your dream company as well. But when you look at the position, you make up your mind whether I am suitable for this position or not. What are the job responsibilities I am going to have there. So that particular position itself attracts the candidate. So that is the third stage. So from here also you can go back. No, company is of my choice, but position is not relevant. So I have to wait for some more time. And the fourth stage comes apply. You might have seen in your personal email ID, you might be getting so many emails since your profile is active on Naukri.com or some other platform, but you do not apply on all the emails which come, right? So you have, when you apply, the process, how simple it is, that also matter. I have seen many companies sending mails, and when person goes to apply for that, there is a complex process. So until you have a very strong employer brand, people may spare some time and go into that complexity. Otherwise, things should be simple. This is what I feel. And next stage comes is commit to the process. I have chosen a company, I have chosen a position, I have applied for that, but whether I am committed to the process. And here it comes the role of the recruitment process, right? So how lengthy process a company is having, whether it is conveyed to the candidate well in advance. So if you don't convey to the candidate that there are 3 rounds of interviews or 4 rounds of interviews, he will accordingly make up his mind, right? So I may appear for the first round of interview, but next time I may find it difficult, whether taking leave from my superior, or there may be some other reasons also at personal front. But committing to the process is another important thing from where he can actually go back, right? And the 6th stage is accept the offer. And here it will come into the picture, your compensation and benefit part. What kind of remuneration you are giving to the candidate, what are the other aspects. It's not only about money, it is about the job role which you are offering, it is about the responsibility, right, which you are giving to the potential candidate. So if he finds all the things relevant, he will definitely accept the offer. But from here to appearing at the new job itself is a bigger task for HR fraternity, because here it comes the candidate backs out sometime, okay, but then we have to understand that what may be the probable reasons of doing that. So either we have excused to the person to that level that the salary which we are offering, he is not ready to accept that, or there may be reason that his current employer is trying to retain him. So there may be number of reasons. But here also the role of HR is very crucial, that after releasing the offer, how we make our touch base with the candidate, how we engage with the candidate, we We address his anxiety, we address all his queries, because I have seen some candidates where you have released offer to the person and you actually forget, and you expect the person to join on the given date. But in today's world, this does not happen actually. Okay, so you have to be in touch with the candidate on regular basis, and you have to understand what is going on in his mind, right? So here I wanted to spend some time because this is very important. So I hope you are understanding it from employer point of view as well as the candidate point of view. Surenji, next slide, please. So now, if you look at this heading, like 5 key levers to shape your talent pipeline with search, right? So talent, you have to search it, right? So there are various things through which you can make your search better. So I have put here some points, like one is job sites. Okay, so some those who are my HR colleagues, they might be having Naukri paid ID. Some of you may be having some other job site ID. So there you will search these people, right? That is the basic thing, right, which you will get. Nowadays LinkedIn is also very popular in searching that talent. Then second thing is job description. This is very, very crucial when you go for the talent, because I have seen many companies where you are asking candidate to appear for the interview, but you don't have the job description ready. Okay, sometimes I have seen the scenario where candidate is asking himself or herself that I want the JD of this profile, and unfortunately HR person or employer does not have that, or if it is there, it is not updated one. So having job description at place is a very essential thing, because candidate will actually visualize that, he will actually visualize that this is going to be my job and this person I will be dealing with, right? And then career site. Each and every company who are having website, you actually go to the career site, life at so and so company, and then you visualize the what this company is doing for the people, what is how is the work life balance there. People try to portray, they try to represent it on that side, but in some cases either it is not updated regularly, or some important parts are missing, like employee testimonials, okay, or some initiatives which you have started recently, that should also be there, so that people can be attracted for the particular company. I have already touched this point. Apply process, make it as simple as possible, because no one wants to go in that level of complexity, so make it simple, right? And the very important in today's scenario is company reviews. So you might have come across this Glassdoor, In Her Site. There are many many platforms nowadays where people go and put the reviews about his or her employer. So we as a HR professional, or we as an employer, we have to understand that how crucial it is. Because if I make an offer to any one of you for a particular job role, so the first thing which come in your mind is that how this company is, how they treat their people, right? How their business is going on. So all these things you will go to definitely to these kind of sites where you can get some feel. Okay, I'm not saying that 100% of the reviews are genuine. Okay, I have a different opinion on that also, because some people may be very judgmental in writing that, but we as a HR cannot take it lightly whether it is a genuine one or not. We should go deeper and try to understand that what was the actual pain of this person and how we can address. I have seen many reviews at this platform called Glassdoor, and it was to my surprise that half of them were related to full and final settlement. So if a person leaving, how smooth you can make the exit, though it is not a part of this topic, but I am covering here because that fellow will spread the word outside that how this employer is. If he does not get his full and final done in the period of 2 months, what he will refer to your, do you feel that he will refer you, this company to his friends or colleagues? He will not refer. This is what I feel, because his experience matters. So we as a HR professional should go and check the reviews regularly and should not hesitate to escalate such matters to our senior management if it is not in our purview to resolve that. Next, please. So as I mentioned earlier, that building a strong employer brand. So some of you might be thinking that what is the role of HR in building this brand, right? This may be the profile of marketing or branding department, but we have to, you know, partner with those functions so that we can also contribute in building a employer brand. So if you see, one survey says that 61% of candidates check company reviews and rating before they determine their interest in a job. A few minutes back, I explained you that once you get a job, you do not know anybody in that company. So these are the only tool from where you can have a feel, actually, right? So regularly checking those sites, okay, responding to the queries, giving feedback, all this where a HR person can contribute, right? You can also tell your stories, engage your employees in storytelling, encourage them to personalize their LinkedIn profiles, starting a company blog, being active in the press. Okay, so this being active in press is a little bit sensitive also, because each and every company does not allow that. There is a spokesperson, there is a, you know, branding and this corporate communication department who does that. But there are some small scale companies which allow the HR fraternity also to do that, right? So here we can contribute in building the employer brand. You, whenever you do some CSR activity nearby your, you know, office or area, so you can highlight that in the local newspaper. Then partner with marketing. So as I told you that some of you might be thinking it is the part of marketing, but you have to understand that what are the campaign which is running in the market from our company side, and whether we can partner with them, and if we can, you know, drive our agenda in that, right? So there you can help out in building a employer brand. And believe me, once you contribute to building a strong employer brand, the talent will comes automatically. This is what my experience is. Next, please. So I have named it, I have put it as a recruiting hack. Why? Because improve candidate experience. If you do this, and this is completely in the hand of HR, let me tell you. So no one else is there who is there in picture. It is you and your recruiter. If you have a recruitment partner who can build this experience, right? So in this, as I told you earlier also, the current job market is candidate driven, right? That means you do not pick the talent picks you, because they have a various options available, and then they will choose whether they should join you or they should not join you. So the thing which is in your hand is improving candidate experience, right? So how you can improve candidate experience, we will cover it in the coming slides. But before that, we will understand what are the benefits, right? So whenever we ask you to do certain things, the first thing which a human being thinks is, what is in it for me, right? What is my benefit in that? So if you look at the benefits, right? So 95% of candidates are more likely to apply again if they had a positive candidate experience in first time. So now you imagine, if you give a positive candidate experience, he will definitely come back to you if in future you have some other position, right? 97% of candidates who had a positive experience would refer others to apply. So here the word of mouth will come into the picture. If you are able to give positive experience, he will tell 10 other people to apply for the company which you are working with, right? 88% of candidates with a positive experience would increase their purchase with the company. So see here, it is nothing to do with the recruitment or, you know, hiring. It is about normal purchasing. So this has also come into a survey that 88% of the candidate with positive experience would actually purchase, right? They will increase their purchase from the company. And 55% of the people with a positive experience would tell their social network about that positive experience. And I need not tell you the you know, power of social media nowadays. If you post something, it goes viral in a seconds like anything, right? So after you know, going through this slide, I am sure that most of you might have understood that what is the importance of, you know, building the positive candidate experience while interviewing. So how to improve them? So there are I have put some steps. I will try to explain them, right? The first point I have already covered. See, you will see a repetition of 1 or 2 points, but the context is different. So in improving candidate experience, as I explained, job description plays a very crucial role. It has all the information that what are the key activities. who will be the reporting manager, for which matters he has to deal with whom, right? So all these things will be mentioned in job description. So it is very, very essential. Then be transparent about your recruiting process. I will share very small things here, but play a very important role. In the beginning, you should tell the candidate how many rounds of interview you are going to have, whether you will be reimbursing the local conveyance to the person. These are very small petty issues you might be thinking, but plays a bigger role. If you don't share such information in advance, there will be a confusion and the person will make an impression that clarity is not there, or you as a recruiter hiding something. So it is very, very essential to explain the entire process right in the beginning, so that candidate is mentally prepared, right? Please go back. Yeah. Improve your career site, showcase employee value propositions, right? So here you have to, as I told you, that you have to get this updated regularly. You have to upload some, employee testimonials, other things which are happening good in your organization. So if you improve this particular point, because once a person applies, or before even applying, he tries and go to this slide, this section, and understand what the company is, right? Enable easy application process. Again, this point has come because this is also part of improving the candidate experience. Respect candidates' time. Most of our HR colleague, okay, most of us, rather I would say, most of us make a mistake. We feel that candidate has ample time, but interviewer don't have, right? Interviewer do not have. So that is not the case. When a candidate appears for the interview, he has a lot of, he faces many things. He has to apply half day leave, or 1 day leave. He has to convince his superior. Okay, he has to sacrifice at personal front as well. Sometimes when we conduct the interview on Saturdays or some weekend kind of things, or in drive where we do that, right? So we should also respect the candidate's time. Here HR can play a major role in terms of going to the interviewer, making him understand, convincing him if he can make it little faster. Okay, so sometimes candidate. Hello.
So please go ahead, please.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, it is audible. Yes.
Okay, great. So respecting candidates' time is crucial nowadays, because when you call a person, we should respect the time. Okay, we should finish it on time, so that candidates goes back on time, right? And the next, I have put the word communicate 3 times, because I'm very active on social media, especially LinkedIn. So I keep seeing so many posts complaining about the HR fraternity that they do not communicate. I'm also part of that, but let us accept the practical things. Okay, so when we do not communicate the things on time, it becomes bigger issue, because the anxiety is going on in the mind of candidate. So live about whether you are a HR manager or recruiter. Think from a humanity point of view. If I have interviewed somebody, he may be having a lot of hopes, expectation, he must be started looking the dream that this is what my next job is going to be. So it is very, very essential to give the feedback on time. And when I say feedback, it is not only about giving the positive feedback that you are selected, this is the good news for you, but when you want to give an feedback that you are not selected, this should also be handled very carefully, right? So while giving the rejection feedback, we should be ready with giving 2 or 3 feedback which the candidate can improve. And believe me, that fellow will remember you forever, because you are actually helping him to success, not in this interview, but in the upcoming interviews. So when you share that, yes, we were looking for so and so profile, you also have got a good experience, but this particular part you are not having exposure. For example, channel sales you are not acquainted with, so we feel that for this role we may not find you suitable, but if you work on this particular area, it may be some soft skills also. So we should not hesitate to share that. You should build some confidence. While replying, I have seen some people who give the interview first or second time, or at the initial stages they actually shiver. Okay, so you should give the feedback honestly, right? So whatever methods you can suggest to them, so that they come with the confidence next time. And become an interview guru. Here again, I would emphasize on a very important point. Sometimes we misunderstand the interview process, and what we feel that it is the candidate only who has to do a lot of preparation. we are the interviewer, we need not prepare anything. But as an HR professional, as a recruiter, we have a bigger responsibility than the candidate, because we have to choose one, we have to choose 2 out of 20 or 30. So the preparation should be double when you are an interviewer. And nowadays I am seeing the trend of, though it has been happening from long, this competency based interviewing. So in that I have seen that interviewer have to spend hours, I'm telling you, to prepare the set of questions what he is going to ask and how he will assess on those competencies. So here I have put this point, train your interviewers, because all the line managers, all the seniors may not have that kind of exposure in competency based interviewing. That is for an example. There may be other two things also. So you should spend time on those interviewers also and make them understand that what you want to achieve out of this interview. So if you do so, then the experience is going to, wonderful for that particular candidate. Next, please. Give and ask for the feedback. Some part I have already covered. We should give feedback to the candidate, right? But at the same time, we should also ask for some feedback. So we should ask candidate that how do you feel, right? So do you have any questions, right? So sometimes candidate does not feel comfortable. I have seen many interviewers who offers a glass of water or bottle of water. Please have it, be comfortable, So in the end, you can ask. So now hope you are comfortable now. So by this you will be able to build relation with the candidate also. I'm not talking here for the HR only, for the line managers also we can groom and develop in such a way. Then maintain candidate relationship. You may find a particular candidate is not suitable for the role which you are interviewing today, but that is not necessary that you do not build the relationship with that candidate. So you may keep in touch with him. If in future you may have some suitable vacancy basis his experience or exposure, it may help you, right? Or he may also refer some other candidates also, right? Then create a great recruitment content. So if you have a career this page of your company on social media, you may share some relevant information which candidates may find useful. So it is like giving back to the society, and you are actually helping, you are making your job easy, because if you share your expectations, if you share what kind of culture you are having in the organization, so candidate also makes up his mind accordingly, right? Find the right recruiter. Why it is important? Because recruiter is the extended hand of the recruiter who is sitting in the company. So if you have a right kind of recruiter, it is also going to add experience. Let me share my own example. When I changed my last job, so this recruiter has called me in such a way that I was fully impressed. In the way when I was starting from my location to the interview location, so she was in continuous touch, whether you have reached there, during the lunch time she had made a call, whether the lunch was served to you or not. And I still remember, I still cherish that experience that I never expected, because generally what we feel is recruiter, it is recruiter's job, he charging for that from the company. But to be very practical, there are many consultants who are charging, everyone is charging. But then what is that which differentiates them is the experience which they gave to the candidate. I still remember the name. She was Mahak. Nowadays she's into training and development. And I still remember the kind of experience I had in that interview, right? Then briefing the candidate about the role and team. So sometimes in asking questions and formal interview, sometimes we miss this important aspect, that briefing the candidate, that what is the role he is going to handle, what is the team size. Sometimes candidate have question but he does not want to ask, or he does not ask due to hesitation. So few points you can share from your end so that he gets clarity in his mind, right? Next, please.
Yeah.
So this particular slide is for the people who are actually like freshers or students, right? Who tries, who wants to attract employer basically, or it may be with the existing also, right? So by having visibility on job sites, so there are two types of candidate, active candidates and passive candidates. So if you have made up your mind to change, then you have to be active. By thinking in your mind that I want to change a job, it will not come to you automatically, right? So you have to put some efforts by making your profile active. and that I don't think I need to tell. We all know about it, and if in case it is required, we can definitely connect later on, right? That how to build on these 3 points which I have mentioned here. Then there are passive candidates who think but they are not active on these job sites, so it is very difficult for them to get a job. Reason being, see, it is the recruiter who has to make double effort, who has to, you know, through reference your name will come into the picture. But if you are directly active on those sites, the recruiter or HR manager can directly reach to you, right? Then a good profile on LinkedIn, it is a very popular platform nowadays, you know, for personal branding as well as, you know, visibility. So I have seen many students, you know, nowadays, even I have seen 12th or, you know, graduate people who are doing graduation, actually they are very active on LinkedIn. That's actually very good thing. So but at the same time, they should understand that they should complete their profile in all the aspects. They should mention their key strengths, right? Major achievements, if you have some experience, right? So a good profile picture should also be there, because without profile picture, you know, it comes on your authenticity. So if you have a formal picture as a display picture on your LinkedIn profile, that will also be good. And the last but not the least, we should put some effort on, you know, developing a good resume for us, or CV, right? It should not be more than 2 pages, which I personally feel, right? So if you limit it to the 2 pages, that will be good. We should keep basic things in mind, like font, spelling mistakes, right? And other things which makes first impression, right? I'm not saying that if there is a spelling mistake, we should judge the person, but it does not give good impression. That is the fact we should all accept, right? Next, please. So how does a candidate actually make it happen? So till here, I was trying to make you understand the attraction part. Now, the practical thing is, when you get the first call from the recruiter, right? How do you handle it? So why I have used the word handle, because you are not prepared, right? You have got a phone call, so immediately you have to, you know, make up your mind that yes, I have to talk in a certain way, right? So whatever question is being asked, think and then reply. So I have seen in the first call itself, sometimes you give reply in hurry. For example, recruiter is asking, are you ready to relocate? And in hurry you say, no, I am stick to my hometown only. And then after the call you realize, no, I should have been little bit flexible, right? So while replying, you should think thoroughly that what should I reply, what should I not reply, and you should handle this call very carefully, so that your chances of getting next round of interview is very, very crucial, because it is the first round of screening, you can say. Then next comes the appearing for personal interview on time, or rather I would say before time, right? So if we are saying to the recruiter that we should respect the time of the candidate, it applies on candidates also to respect the time which is given. If in case you are not able to make it out, please inform to the recruiter well in advance. Believe me, it will give very good impression about your punctuality and discipline, and that are the very basic traits which are required in corporate, right? Presentation. So here are 2 aspects. One is your self presentation. How do you present yourself? So here I will cover all the aspects like formals, right? How do you appear, and then documentation part also. I have seen people coming for the interview, in spite of you know, giving the mail that you should bring so and so documents, many a times they miss to bring, right? So it may be by mistake in 1 or 2 times, but if it has been the, you know, it continues, then it gives the bad impression, right? So you should present yourself in a well manner. Confidence is the key, no doubt. You should have the proper eye contact, right? If you don't know the answer of any questions, say no with confidence. Don't worry, okay? Say that, sorry boss, I don't know, right? Yeah, give me some time, let me think. So there is no harm in that, but don't bluff, right? Don't give answer which you do not know. Try to build some, you know, answers from on your own. Flexibility. I have seen many youngsters, right? Especially homesickness is something which, you know, takes your opportunity away. So here I would request you that please be a little bit flexible. I understand that there may be some genuine problem with many of us, right? Personal front or, you know, a family problem. But if we are little bit flexible, opportunities are going to be there, right? Handling difficult questions. Why did you leave your last company? Gap in service, areas of improvement. I would emphasize here 2-3 things. One is, tell the honest reason why did you leave your last company. If you give your reply honestly, this will be helpful. This is what my experience is. Again, I am saying it may not be right or applicable for all of us. Sometimes it may, it may go wrong as well. But if you give your reply honestly, that's good, right? Sometimes people are hesitant in sharing gap in service. Please share, but keep your answer ready, that what you have done during this gap. I have done so and so certification, so and so course, my communication was not so good, I have joined English speaking classes, my computer efficiency was not so good. Whatever you have done, please do it. If you are doing freelancing, please share that I have done that. Okay, so you should not hesitate. When interviewer asks areas of improvement, please share. At the same time, please also share what are you working to overcome that. Sometimes we don't share that, it will give bad impression, but we should share it. But at the same time, we should also share what you are doing as an individual to overcome that. And last but not the least, ask questions when opportunity is given. Please ask questions as a candidate. Seek clarity about the role, reporting manager, team, predecessor. So please ask whether I am the new for this role or there has been somebody else who was handling this role and I'm going to replace him. If you are the replacement of somebody, please ask whether this person has left the organization or he has got some better opportunity. Why I am saying this? Because you will come to know that what kind of culture this company is having. If the person has moved up, he has given bigger responsibility, then there is a clue for you that company is focusing on building internal talent and giving opportunity to them. Right? So these are few things which I wanted to share with all of you. Thank you so much for your time, and I think now it's time for question and answer. Jaiswal ji.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you so much, Sundar sir, for a lovely session. And we have learned a lot for as an employer side and the candidate side both. These are the few aspects those candidates can take care of this. As you said, resumes and the content, social media and all that. So I should say thank you so much. And I would like to say if anybody have any question to ask with Mr. Sundar, he is available for next 10 to 15 minutes with us. Anybody can have a time.
So Surenji, we can, yeah, please.
Sundar, this is Mukesh from HCL Foundation.
Yeah, Mukesh, yeah, tell me.
So thank you so much for such a wonderful session. And of
Welcome.
course, your presentation and your views will definitely help us all. First, before starting my question, I just want to say have a glass of water. You need it now.
Sure, thank you.
Another thing, Sundar, of course, hiring is a very important part. I just want to know any practical example from your last organization or in your current organization where you hired somebody and then it was a wrong hire, something like that. And how you manage it, because in a practical time, day to day, we also face that we hire somebody, even the line manager is okay with it. And
Very
simultaneously, during a probation period, hiring manager came to us and say, boss, what is this? I'm not liking this person, fire him or do anything, but I don't want that person. So how to handle that situation? If you can give your
very good question, Mukesh. It's not one time, it has happened many times with me in 10 years of my career that there is a wrong hire in place, right? And you rightly said it's very difficult as an HR to handle such cases. So let me tell you, once we recruit somebody and the person is in the system, there are two kind of things, right? When the performance is not up to the mark, the person's attitude or behavior is not in line with the organization, right? So there are two things which as an HR I have done, or rather I would suggest to do. The first thing is observe as much, as quickly as possible, right? So as an HR professional, we should not give longer time if there is a problem with respect to attitude, discipline or the basic etiquettes. So if you understand it at the beginning stage, please have a watch, right? So as an HR professional, we get an opportunity of this probation period of 6 months, right? And I have no, hesitation to share that we are there in the system to build organization, right? So if at some point of time there is a wrong person who does not improve at all, we have to take some tough decision as well. So I'm not going to the tough decision in the beginning itself. I would say give an ample opportunity to the person, assign a mentor, assign a buddy, try to help him out. What are the problem he is trying to express? If he express something and we can build upon, we should do. Otherwise, after a probation period, we should think through whether we should confirm the person or not, right? If we can extend, that is also another way. I'm not saying that you can outrightly fire the person or send him home. So that's not my view, right? But you should give time to improve upon, try to understand his concern, why he is not trying to cope up with the culture, because culture building is HR's essential profile, right? So if you are not able to make it at all, then after extending the probation, we should gracefully shake the hand with that guy. That is what I can say. And I'm not saying that in all the case you will shake the hand only. There are cases which have turned out wonderfully. I still remember the case of a sales guy in my previous company, and today he is the star performer, right? So it is a matter of the mentoring, the coaching, or you as an HR will have a bigger role to play to understand whether he is facing some personal problem which is affecting his professional problem, right? So I hope I'm able to reply you, Mukesh.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Sundar. Thanks.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Sundar.
Hello.
This is Tapsi. Hi.
Hi, Tapsi.
Hi. So, adding to that question, my question
Yeah.
is, if there is a problem with the attitude and behavior, I understand your perspective, even the performance, but there are two aspects to it as I see it. One thing is the person is not able to perform because of some other underlying issues. Other thing is maybe his skill set or his or her skill set is matching to some other role than the one he or she is recruited for.
Correct.
So how do we recognize that he is not performing in this particular role, but maybe he will do well in some other role? How do you take up that? And my other question is regarding the job interviews, or when we approach in both cases for a recruiter or the interviewee. So my question is, how do you handle the inhibitions they come with? Like they have some bad experience in past, or they have some good experience in past regarding the interview, or the experience with the HR to be specific, or the candidate to be specific.
Right.
How do you leave that inhibition before you go for the next interview?
Correct. So Tapsi, to reply to your first question is, the role of HR is very crucial in that if the person is not able to perform right in a particular role, so it is the HR who will go and sit with the person and counsel him, and will try to understand that what is his area of interest. I have seen many people who are made for something else and are doing something else, and I am one of them, right? My area of interest was teaching, and now I am landed into HR. But now, since it is a number of years of experience and I have got gel into this function, so I'm doing good, no problem in that. So it is the HR who has to understand that what are the skill set of this person. Number one, can we improve those skills which are required in the current role? But here the question is whether the person is ready to build up on those skills. So sometimes he's not ready to build skills because his area of interest is something else. So the role of HR is to speak to the cross-functional head or senior, where he can explore some opportunity for the person in a different role. And in many organizations it is happening very smoothly. Let me share with you, recently we have moved around 100 people across the functions. So Nuvoco is one of the examples which I can share proudly, that if there is some issue, we can cross-functionally try that person, and I am sure with this little flexibility the person will come up wonderfully, right? As far as your second question is concerned, Tapsi, yes, there are many inhibitions, right? There are many things. So from candidate's point of view, being transparent is very, very essential, right? That how transparent you are with the candidate. And as far as my personal experience is concerned, I share all the things with the candidate very openly, that this is how this profile is going to be. This will be your reporting manager. But at the same time, from candidate point of view, I will suggest to each one of you, please have a study about the employer, about the reporting manager. I know it's a bit difficult in some cases, but try to get the context. So who was the predecessor? Why did he leave? Who are the other colleagues who have worked under that particular person? How he has behaved with those persons? The time is very crucial. If you switch from one job to another and you get the same problem in the new job, it's very difficult to, get over that, right? So candidate also has to do a lot of homework, and HR, being an HR, you have to be transparent and you have to be little bit, active listening is very, very important. Once you listen to the person carefully, you will come to know that what is going on in his mind, and of course it will come over the years of experience.
Okay.
Hello,
More often
Sundar.
than not, sorry.
Yeah, Tapsi, please.
Yeah. So more often than not, what happens is, so I was searching for a job for almost 4-5 months. So what happened with me? Most of the HRs will call and they will just start a scripted pattern like ye hai. But sometimes it is needed to tweak it as per the candidate also. Do you feel the same? Because some of the candidate need a detailed overview of what the role is. Some of us already done the homework and they have the questions to ask instead.
I understand. I understand, Tapsi. Actually, as I told earlier also, if you have clear-cut job description and you share it with the candidate well in advance, it will address all the questions. But the problem is that many of the companies do not have that job description ready, and that is the only reason HR plays around. That he will give some 2-liners, 3-liners. This is going to be the role. This is going to be the profile. But there is a document which will give you all the answer, right?
Right.
So that is what I can share at this moment.
Okay.
Okay, Sundar, hi, it's Snigdha.
Yeah.
Sundar, I have a question that as we talked about the hiring, of course, it's a kind of funnel process where we end up with 2 or 3 candidates at the end of the day. Fine.
Correct.
In this process, there is one important thing, that is a reference check. Most of the companies usually go for. So
Correct.
do you feel that if suppose candidates have completed all the process, his interview was, his skill set, his psychological test, everything is good, do the reference checks works a lot? Because sometimes it happens that he doesn't have that good rapport with the superior, and he's a good candidate, but superiors, many times it happens in these era that they give a wrong reference to them, and company takes a judgment that they don't pick up that candidate. So do you find that this particular tool is very relevant when candidates is almost 90% relevant to our position?
Very, very good question, Snigdha. There are two things, right? First of all, let me tell you from the about this reference check, since I'm into this function, so I'm practically doing it, right?
Yes.
So it is not the only previous reporting manager or the previous company from where this reference check is being done, right?
Okay.
So there are 2-3 touch points, not only your immediate employer, but your previous employer also, from where we are getting this reference. That is point number 1.
Okay.
And it is not only your reporting manager from where this reference is checked, right? There are fellow colleagues also, right?
Correct,
We go to Naukri.com, we go to LinkedIn, and we try to understand. Suppose you were working with the X company in 2018. So we will try to understand in 2018 how many people were working in the same branch with you, right? We try to understand that without asking, right?
Correct.
And then we try to connect with this person and understand that how has been your experience. So it is the sum of feedback of reporting manager, colleague, your previous employer, and other fellow colleagues. I give you my own example. In my case, reference check was done with a person who left my, that time I was in a first company, that is Gati. The person moved from Gati to SafeX, which is a close competitor, and the person was in off-roll position, right? And the feedback was taken from that off-roll guy, that when this person goes to the floor, how he mingles up with the team, right? How is his attitude when he interacts? So it was out of my imagine that the feedback will be taken from an off-roll guy who is at soft floor level.
Correct. No,
Okay.
Sundar, you know what? Why I asked this question, and the way you gave the answer, I am very much okay and very much satisfied with that. Because
Yeah.
still in HR fraternity, we have so many tools, but usually what people do is in big companies as well, they just go for a verdict of a superiors. They don't take the 360. They're like, in case he's working with his colleagues, of course, they also can give a reference very well, but they don't
Correct.
take the fellow colleagues reference. They only go for a senior's verdict, and maybe
I
he doesn't have.
I,
So
I
people don't
understand.
follow this on a
Mhm.
large platform, and this is a very much need of an hour that people understand that.
I understand, Snigdha. To add your point, if you go and go through the application form of the employer thoroughly, there are
Correct.
many companies which are very openly writing, shall we make contact to your N plus one? And if you
Yes.
put no, believe me, they are not going to contact. And Nuvoco is one of the examples.
So don't
They
you feel that it's going to leave a negative impact that if candidate writes it on that no, you cannot make a contact to them?
I don't think so. If
Okay.
see, we
Mhm.
also understand as an HR that relationship of superior and subordinate has always been a point of discussion, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
it's a very practical. In my organization, I'm telling you, we clearly ask. If the person says no, we will never go back. We also
Hmm.
ask whether we should make a call. If he
Hmm.
says yes, we ask we should make a call before making offer or after making
Correct.
offer, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
as I told you repeatedly, the more and more transparent you are, the more and more life is going to be easy as an HR.
Correct. Correct. Thanks. So
So
Welcome.
hi,
Hi.
hi Sushant this side from
Yeah,
ACS.
Susanji.
So I was just discussing this reference check. So when the candidate says no, that you will not go with my further references, and if he says that you can also not make a call to those references. So in that cases, how do you make the reference? How do you proceed with this references system?
So you are saying that the person has not given reference, right?
Right. If he says no, you cannot go with my further references of my last organization, or you cannot make a
Correct.
call to them. So in that cases, how do you
So
proceed with the candidature?
yeah, yeah. So this particular question is with respect to his immediate superior, right? Where he is working currently,
Okay.
right? So if he says no, then there are further questions from previous employer, from colleagues, right? In HR itself, suppose I am in generalist profile. So if I don't want to give feedback, reference of my boss, but you can take feedback from compensation and benefit head. You can take feedback from L&D head, like that.
I mean, you mean to say that we can go ahead with the different verticals of the same
Yes,
HR line, like
yes.
L&T, like compensation benefits, or any other one?
Yes, it is the sum total. Let me tell you once again, it is the sum total. In that case, we also go deeply and drill down with respect to his performance rating also. So that is also one factor, right? So now you will say that it is again related to his boss, but then it will be a sum total. His performance rating, right? His colleagues' feedback. So everyone cannot be wrong
We
in
can
all the
also,
aspects,
and we can
right?
also go ahead with his other past organizations where he has worked in 2017, 18, 19, wherever he has worked.
Correct, correct, correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. So no question is big or small. Please ask whatever is there in your mind. I am here. No problem.
Hello,
Sundar,
Sundar.
Yeah.
I have one. Sundar, it's Snigdha. I have one
Yeah.
more questions to ask.
Yeah.
See, as per current scenario, you are seeing that there are so much turbulence in the, everywhere in the industry. So,
Correct.
if we talk about the HR industry, I can understand. But do you feel there is any area which is going to flourish in near future? After means I know it's a very very broad question, but still, what's your views into that?
So see, there are many fields which are still flourishing, right? So if you look about
Of course.
medical lines, if you look about this online
No,
tool,
I'm
right?
specifically asking regarding the HR, because in HR also it's a very big like term. There are so many small things in which people specialized or work into that area, right? So
Yeah.
and in case suppose we work into the recruitment and all those, and the recruitment is not doing very well. In case we'll talk about these scenarios, so what do you feel? How you feel that? What exactly the things going to be around? And with
So
digitalization as well into the HR and recruitment.
correct, correct. So see, this is a time being challenge, right? This is not going to be forever. That first thing we should accept that, right?
Correct,
So if
correct.
recruitment is not happening, for example, so in HR itself there are many other streams. So if you are in existing job, it will definitely depend on your immediate boss or HR team, HR head, who is going to
Correct.
shuffle you with other function. But if you are aspiring for a job or you are looking for a job, I think no field is lesser in HR. Let me tell you, each domain has its own expertise. If you join compensation and benefit team, it is going to give you huge exposure. Industry benchmarking, then payroll processing, statutory compliance. There are many things. If you talk
Correct.
about L&D, I am telling you the future is going to be L&D, because it is the
Okay.
still matter and is still mattering. So if you
Okay.
build a strong L&D in your company, this is going to make a big difference. So L&D again is a very good field where you can think
Yes.
about. And
That.
generalist is evergreen. Generalist is evergreen because you have something to do every time, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sundar,
Well, yeah.
following the same question, my question is, as we all know, the new normal is like work from home or work remotely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is your views uh, for how long it will be and when can be back to a real normal thing?
So Mukesh, it depends on industry as well. Okay. So if I talk about my, this building material industry in which I am working, so we have been working normal since 25th May, right? So the office is open. We are coming alternate day. But if you talk about manufacturing thing, right? So there people have to come to make the things happen physically, right? But if you talk about IT, they may afford to go work from home till December or till, there are many companies who have already announced till 2021. You might have heard in the news, right? There are some companies who have vacated their office for next 1 year that they will operate from home only. So there is no fixed answer like timeline by when, but I think we have to live with it and we have to learn how to, live with new normal. That is what I can say. Okay. But we should utilize this time in building our skills. That is what I can say. And we can also build upon, very various online tools through which we can learn. Right?
Thank you, Sundar.
Welcome.
Frankly speaking, Sundar, I don't.
Yeah.
This is a situation where we all are uncertain and skeptical when the situations would be normal. Many of the
Yeah.
IT organizations, likewise, we are working for EY. They have told till December they would not be working from. They would be
Yeah.
working from home. So situation will take Mukesh. Situation will take more time to get stable for all of us. We have to keep the patience until 2020. What I'm expecting till the vaccine will
Very,
not till the vaccine will not come back. All the things will not get normal. What I
very.
personally feel.
See, as an HR, since this topic has come, I will take 1 minute of yours. It is the very, very crucial time for the employees as well. So, as an HR professional, what we can do is we can make the real connect with the people. And believe me, if you do this in such tough time, employees, this will be the real engagement. I'm not talking about, balloons and cake cutting and all those things. This is the real engagement. When you make a call to the employee, ask whether your family members are okay, all good in family. If there is any illness, how may I extend my support? In Corona situation, nobody will call you at his home, but one phone call Sal certainly made his day, and he will remember that you have called him in a tough time. So it is the time for HR to build the real connect with the team.
This would be the part of the employee engagement again.
Yes, definitely.
Anyone have a question, please?
Any question, please ask. I will repeat. There is no, foolish question. No big or small question. Whatever is there in your mind, please ask. If in case you are not able to ask now, my email ID is with Surenji. You may drop a mail. I will try to give the answer best to my, knowledge and
Hello?
capacity. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, this side Pallavi.
Yeah, Pallavi.
Hello, Mr. Sundar. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just want to ask one question that in many interviews I have gone through this question that how we can negotiate the person, the candidate, and make the candidate join in our salary budget. So if the candidate is not ready and asking for a hike or like 40 or 45%, that is very much. So how we can negotiate with that candidate and can make us join on our salary budget of our company.
Right.
So what do you think about this?
Yeah. So Pallavi, this is a very common phenomena, right? Very, very common thing which come across in front of the HR. And the one thing which So this is the very common thing. Like everyone will ask for 30% or 40%, but as an HR, we have to see our budget, right? So here you have to sell other things, right? So you cannot make the person ready who is expecting 40%. You cannot make him ready with 10%. That I understand. Okay, if he has thought of 40%, he will definitely has his own reasoning, right? But here as an HR professional, you have to, sell other things. Like what is the exposure he is going to get? How is your company culture? What is the learning curve which he is going to have in this organization, right? What are the other benefits? Let me tell you, it is not only the net take home which matters. There are other things also. How much amount is there for mediclaim? What is the term insurance? I have worked with a company who was more than 100 years in a market, but they don't have term insurance, which is very, very basic nowadays. And if you join any company, medium scale company also having term insurance of 50 lakhs or 1 crore for employee. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying that you force the person to join on the lesser CTC, but try to sell other things which he will think, and he will definitely give a second thought whether I should be at this place or not, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Because in one of my interview, the interviewer asked me that, no, tell me that how you make the candidate join on the lesser salary. So I was so confused that is it happening?
So Pallavi, here you have to be little bit, accountant within HR, right? You have to make him understand, if you go in the market and take the mediclaim of 10 lakhs, the premium is 40,000. If you go in the market, take a postpaid SIM and, make lot of calls internet, 500 rupees per month will come. So if you add all those values, it will amount to, 1 lakh or 70,000 maybe. I'm not saying the exact figure. Okay. But it is more about, experience which a candidate looks for. Let me tell you very honestly.
Right. Correct answer. Because I faced this question in my interview. That's why I asked this. What can be the better answer for this?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, this is Tapsi. I have one more question. In case of this, adding to her question, how to deal with bad faith? Like sometimes it happens the HR has made a promise he or she is not authorized to make. But they sometimes tell that, okay, you join at this particular package and we will see and we will increase. But in the end, when you join, you come to know that no, the HR is not even authorized to make that promise. It is a call of the manager who is dictating. That is one question. And my second question, which I was going to ask is, so I was in marketing and right now I am looking for a shift from marketing to training and development department.
Okay.
How to make that shift gradual and how can I make myself prepared for that proper shift?
Very good. So, Tapsi, your reply to your first question is, as I have been telling from last 1 hour, transparency is the key. And here again, the issue is transparency. If I know as an HR professional that my limitation is this, then I should not say a certain thing to the person which is not in my hand. So it is the problem with the individual who has made the false promise, right? But the sufferer is candidate, right? So it is very tricky situation where you will be in dilemma whether to believe on this person or not. But here I would request to my HR colleagues who are in this call, who can spread the word, that please be very, very open and honest with the candidate. And believe me, out of 10, 9 will go ahead with that if you be open and transparent, right? If you don't have anything in your hand, tell openly that this will be subject to condition, right? The management, if management approves, then only it can happen, right? So we should not make the false promise, that is for sure. Otherwise, you are going to make a life of a person miserable because he has come with a certain expectations, right? To your second question, when you shift from one career to another, I mean one role to another, that first of all, I would say a very daring step you are taking, because Many people, they keep on thinking only to make a shift, but very few actually make it happen. So if you are thinking in that line, I would suggest please have a look on the list of a skill set which a training and development manager should have, and try to work on that. For example, for being in training and development, you should have a lot of confidence, right? You should have a presentation skills, you should have a good communication skills, you should have presence of mind, how you can handle the difficult questions all of a sudden, you should have PPT, I mean MS Office skills. So all these things you have to build. You also need to have a technical knowledge, because if you are a training and development manager and you do not understand the training need of the people, then how you are going to help? Okay, so if you work on those skill set and competency, I am sure that you can easily make this transition smooth. That is what I can say.
But how do we make that skill set upskill to that level, or
Yeah.
and like how much does the qualification or a certification in the similar line makes an impact to help the transition?
So as far as qualification is concerned, Tapsi, it depends on company to company. But the well-known program is organized by ISTD, okay, Indian Society for Training and Development, which is well-known and well accepted. So this is with respect to qualification. As far as skill set is concerned, you have to find a way. I am the example. I am doing this webinar for my self-development. Let me be very honest. This is for my own development. Interacting with more than 50 people, handling difficult question is one of the experiences. So you have to find a way, Tapsi, that how you can find a small group where you can present your contents, right? How you can go to colleges. There are many colleges who are actually looking for the people who have worked in industry to share their experience. So you have to start from there, and I am sure once your confidence builds, the remaining things will come automatically. Right? So here you have to sit and think that what are the various ways from where I can start.
More importantly, the person should have a confidence to address the audience, and he or she should be very confident while addressing the audience when it comes to training, because trainer is a person who is very in-depth knowledge of the core knowledge and a skill set what he or she is delivering at that point of time.
Very true. Very true.
Any question?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, Puneet this side. I'm placed in XCS Consultants as a senior HR executive.
Yeah, Puneet.
I have a question in hiring with a plant. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes the local unions and the local contract workers in the plant, they have their majority. Okay. So in that case, they have the if any candidate is interested for a position we offer to a guy, so he is not ready to relocate to the plant due to this reason, because he have to suffer and he have already discussed with the connections and the references. So the local workers have their majority. So due to this, they are not comfortable. They are not comfortable to work in the plant. So I have discussed many guys to hiring with one of the client. So how can we manage in such a situation as a recruiter, or how the role of plant HR is important in such a situation like this?
Very good question from manufacturing point of view. So being the plant HR or plant IR manager, the most prominent job of HR and IR manager is to have the good, harmonious relation with those local which you are, talking about, right? And to ensure that our employees are safe from such kind of people, right? But coming to your question, which is more, I think you should go to the case-to-case basis. Yes. It should be more related to the perception which is built over a period of time. I have never worked with the plant, but I have been to plants many times. And let me tell you, who are saying that working at plant is difficult, there are many added advantages which I and you do not have. And let me share a few of them. Each cement plant, for example, cement plant has a schooling facility. Some of them have a school like DAV, right? There is a bank inside the plant. There is a hospital for the employees. right? There are many facilities which you can think of, right? So it is the perception which is built over a period of time. You should understand what is the exact concern of the person. Mostly people deny to go to the plant location is the remote area. People who have gone to the malls in the city like Gurgaon and Delhi, they will never find it easy to be in a plant location, to be very honest. Okay. So, but yes, as an HR, we have to go deeper and understand if there is any, such kind of people who are troubling our existing employee, and they should correct it.
Yes.
That I understand, right?
In that case, otherwise the company is very good. So
yeah,
the candidate is not ready to relocate in such a remote areas of the plant due
correct.
to some local unions of the local contract workers.
See, I don't know whether you have ever been to any plant, Puneet, but one thing is for sure, right? So this union and other things come into the picture with respect to the NOPR. NOPR means workers. That is blue collar category, right? If you are hiring somebody at officer level, I don't think it will matter much. That is what my experience is, because I have been to plants many a times, right? So you have to understand it from case to case basis. What exactly, or you can also do one thing, what we do in some cases, if a person is having lot of anxiety, we say, you take your time, go and visit this plant. We have guest house there. You will have nice lunch. Go and visit, have a round. If you feel that this place is worth working, you can say yes. Otherwise, you can make up your mind. This is what we do in senior position level. Not every position, because it is very expensive also in some way, right?
Sir, I have another question.
Hello.
So
yeah,
suppose a senior position is vacant in the plant since last 1 year and 2 years. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we offer a candidate to this position. So can we discuss with the guy that either is a replacement or not, or why the position is still vacant? Because they already come to know in the market and their connections that the position is vacant in so-so plant from so many years, so, due to any reason. So, and we don't have any exact criteria why the situation is happening in the plant with this particular position. So can we discuss with the candidate whenever we are offering?
Yeah, Puneet, before discussing with candidate, I suggest you to have a discussion with respective HR, right? And you should ask him, sir, this may be the question from potential candidate, that why this position is vacant from so long time, because they have already known about this thing, right? So whether what should I share? You should have that guidance from the respective HR. And if he shares, then next thing you should ask whether I should share it with the candidate, because sometimes the situation is very tricky. Okay, HR will say that this is vacant because we were running with the existing resource, and some other person will say, no, they were not getting the right person, that is why it is vacant. So there are two things. So you have to get it clear from the respective HR first. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi Sundar, Neha this side.
Yeah, Neha.
From ACS Consultants.
Hi, this is Sumit from ACS Gurgaon.
Can I ask?
Yeah, Neha, please go ahead first, then Sumit will come to you. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Neha, please.
Can you give me any tips for attracting early career talent when your brand is not as well known?
Good question. So what I had said in my slides now, most of the points were related to less known brand, or medium known brand, you can say, because Neha, if you and I are hiring for Facebook, Google, okay, so you can understand the kind of attraction and the kind of applications we will get. So it is the matter of fact that if you are working with a medium class company, right, medium scale company, so the job becomes more challenging. So here what I will again say, that when you call to the candidate, right, so try to share as much information as you can, right? So how this company is growing, right? You can share about management, how dedicated they are, how they have built this company, right? All these things you can share, because at medium and small level, this is what you can do. And once the person appears for the interview, whether it is virtual or physically he comes to office or you get to interact with him, you should share as much information in person also, right? And in such case, you have to be more active in terms of listening. because he will be having a lot of questions that why should I apply for this company? I am working with a bigger brand. What is that special which I can get? Okay, so in that case you have to use some HR skills. For example, we always say that if you want to have a better learning, go with a startup, go with a small size of company. But if you are working with a bigger brand, the fact is that there is a limitation of learning. And let me tell you, I have interacted with many people who are working with a very big brand, but when it comes to their learning curve, it is stagnant to a level, right? Because there are hundreds of people who are working parallelly. But when you work with a startup or a small company, the advantage is you get to learn so many things. So you have to read the mind of the candidate, whether he is more concerned about learning or he is more concerned about brand. If it is brand, I think your job is tough. It's more challenging.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Sumit, this is Ansu this side.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know a question in context of a candidate. So can I have this question?
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. So actually, I'm social work professional and currently working as a fellow in Piramal Foundation under aspirational district program of Niti Aayog. I'm very specific while choosing or applying for any position in any organization, but after completing my master's in I've applied for 3 roles in 3 different organizations. So I got an interview call from all 3 organizations, but all the 3 interview was much longer than other candidates, and moreover interview was very smooth, and I got selected in one organization. So I wanted to know how I can understand the reason or know the reason for not getting selected for 2 other positions, as you have already mentioned in your session that it is important to share with the candidates. So I wanted to know how I can improve myself. So
yeah,
thank you.
So here I would like to say that when you don't get the reward from the recruiter or the company, it is said that the ideal time is 3 to 5 days, right? 3 to 5 days. Why? Because sometimes you get interviewed in weekend, then there is a weekend, okay, and then 1 or 2 days. Sometimes we get to we as an HR also struggle to get the real feedback from the HOD, or he is also sometimes confused between 2 or 3 candidates, which one I should choose, right? So the ideal time is 3 to 5 days. If in case you do not get the feedback from the HR or recruiter, you should make a call to the person with whom you had interacted in past, okay, at the time of interview, and you should ask very politely, sir, this is with respect to the interview which I had in your office. So I just want to have the feedback from your end. And even if it is not positive, please share it with me. And I would be happy to know what are the areas of improvement which I can work upon. That will be really helpful. I am 100% sure if you share this thing, no HR will deny, right? He will definitely share. What happens for HR, the difficult job is to say no. When it is selection, then we make a call happily and say you are selected, congratulations, sweet distribution and all. But when it is a rejection, we find it difficult, and it is a human nature. When you say no to somebody, it is difficult. But we have to learn as an HR, that is point number 1. If HR is not reverting, then you should make a call and articulate in a way which I have explained. Even if it is rejection, I would love to know the feedback about my interview so that in next interview I can improve upon, and it will be really help from your side. I am sure you will get the help. You will get the feedback. You can also drop a mail, right? If in case you are not able to access to the person, you can drop a mail also. Okay. But after 3 to 5 days, that is what my suggestion is.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
Anyone who has a question?
Your voice is not coming properly. Hello?
Hello. Sundar, can you hear me?
Yeah, please.
Sundar, my question in the term called job hopper. So,
Sumit, I'm not able to. I'm not able to hear you. Sumit, can you send your question in chat? Can you send your question?
Okay, I'll put my. Sure.
Yeah. Please put on chat. I will reply. Those who are still thinking to ask, please ask. I'm telling you, asking question is one of the basic trait, and this is going to help you in corporate. Ask question. So Gurmail Singh,
I don't have a question right now. I just want to add something to you.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to be a teacher and you are an HR professional right now. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. You are doing much more than teaching. You're mentoring people.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And very honestly, when I go to L&D part, no, in HR itself, when I go to impart training, when I go to, some other assignments which are more related to employee counseling and teaching, then I sometimes leave with that role also. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I think Gurmail has posted a question that can you please share this recorded version. So I need to check with Surenji whether he has recorded it.
Yes, yeah, it is recorded, sir, and we'll put this recording on our Facebook page so that everyone can see in this recording and all that.
So Vinod Tak has shared a message. Very good session. Thank you, Vinod. And Sivalika, I will take some minutes. Okay, I will read and I will try to answer. Multiple times I face a question that when we recruit someone and the person accept offer and after some time the person say no. That time how to handle this situation and you don't have much time to fulfill client requirement. That situation what we can do. Good question, Sivalika, and it is more often happens with the HR fraternity, especially the recruiter, right? So first thing I will say, don't get bogged down with such kind of event. It is the part of life. It is the part of our job. So you cannot make a person join by holding his hand or going to him and drag him to the company. It is purely the interest of an individual, whether he wants to join an organization or not. But what I would like to share is, as an HR professional, you should go deeper and try to understand what is the what is behind backing out of this candidate, so that you can work upon. Sometimes there are certain things which are in our hand and we as an organization can improve in future. So feedback we can try to get those feedback as much as possible. If person is not ready to join at all, then I don't think that we should force or we should. Sometimes there are small grievances which you can address and you should address. If the person is not mentally ready, if you bring him also or bring her also, I don't think that you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. I think one more question has come from Sumit. If you receive a candidature who is a job hopper, but this skill set is the best match to your requirement or a benchmark profile, so you give him a chance to evaluate him in face-to-face interview, or you will reject him right away. I, as an HR, I will not reject actually, because when you say job hopper, we have to understand what has been the background. Always ask as many as questions possible. Try to understand what is the background, why a person has changed jobs so frequently, right? So if the person is not opening up, ask him that we are not going to judge you that why you have changed so many jobs. Please, we are trying to understand, right? Because let me tell you, this interpersonal skills is one of the most crucial skills which is essential in a corporate. So we have to understand whether the problem is with respect to interpersonal skills of that candidate. If you are able to gauge that by any means, then it will be very helpful for you as well as organization. Otherwise, what will happen? The person will come and again he will think about leaving so early. So you have to go and understand the reasoning. That is what I can say. A certification course. What are the most trending certification courses? Ashmita, let me tell you, nothing can beat the practical knowledge. Certification and qualification can help you to a certain extent. I'm not denying with that. There are certain companies who have a basic criteria that person should have this degree or this diploma. But if you are already in HR, certification and all things, you can continue. I'm not denying that. But build the softer skills which are very essential for HR. understand the business wherein you are working, speak the business language. There are many HR people who still struggle to understand the business language. We as an HR should be part of business review meetings, should speak business language. Communication should be good. We should be bold enough, we should be courageous enough to put the thing of an employee with the management strongly, right? We are the bridge between employee and employer, right? So we should play a crucial role in that. So these are some skills. Okay, we have to be a good listener. HR is known as the sounding board. Please listen carefully, understand the concern of the people. These are the few things which I can give you as a tips.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome. Anyone else, please?
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Khushi from ACS only. Sir, I have a question. Like, if there's a drive going on and being a HR, the first round is screening round. So, what are the 5 key points that we can ask to the candidate to filter them? Because being an HR, we can't judge them on a technical basis. So, but what are the 5 key points so that we can, proceed further for the further rounds?
All right, so I will make you count. I don't know whether it will be 5 or more or less, but the first and foremost thing is position and the skill set of that person, right? If I have a position of HR recruiter, for example, you have to understand whether person has hands-on experience on Naukri, Monster, LinkedIn or other sources, right? This is one example. Second, you have to match with respect to his CTC. I mean, what budget the company has given to you for that profile. So if the candidate is falling in that, that's good enough. If he is not falling, you will face the challenge in upcoming stage, because HR will certainly say that we have this much of budget, right? Third thing is, please understand from the candidate is little bit of his personal background, right? From location point of view. So there are many people who in the hope of job say that I am ready to relocate pan India. Some people say I am going to join anywhere. But when it comes to the practical thing, they actually deny. So you have to understand what is the family background of the person. There may be case when they have a very old age parents, the only child of the parents. There may be so many things. So you have to understand these basic touch points, whether the person is ready to relocate, his salary budget में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है, right? And then उसका जो है profile match कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा है. Understanding the key skills from HR is very essential. I am talking from recruiter point of view. Whenever you have any position from any HR manager, please understand क्या क्या role रहेगा, क्या क्या skill set चाहिए, है ना? कोई particular knowledge चाहिए क्या? For example, you are hiring somebody for purchase. तो SAP का नॉलेज इज मस्ट कई कंपनीज में. सो SAP का बंदे को है या नहीं है, ऑल दीज थिंग्स यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इन द इनिशियल फेज. यू आर राइट, टेक्निकल नॉलेज ओनली लाइन मैनेजर विल अंडरस्टैंड. I hope I am able to reply what you asked.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other question?
I think it's done, Sundar.
So if any other question, please ask. Otherwise, we have,
Yeah. Is it last question, please? If you have any question, please ask.
If there is any other question later on also, you may send an email. I'll tell you my email ID before ending this session. Yes, please.
Hello. Hi, Mr. Sundar. Arvind this side from ACS only.
Yeah, Arvind.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for your precious time. So my question is that, we have just started this RPO process. Okay. So just wanted to know, how we can build, what are the various steps through which we can build our brand value, and as per you, or what are the you can say ideal culture one company should opt.
So you are associated with ACS, right?
ACS, yeah.
Right. So as I mentioned in one of my slides also, in recruitment, this recruiter plays a very essential role, right? So at this point of time, what I can share with you is, please understand the business of the people who are giving business to you, right? Or you can say who are the clients, right? So suppose you are hiring for cement, then you should also have a basic understanding of cement, right? As a recruiter, so that when you talk to the candidate, you speak in his language, right? As far as brand is concerned, I gave you the example few minutes back, and let me share. This example was from ACS only, right? Which I shared, that the recruiter called me and he followed up so passionately and all that. That was related to ACS only. So since all of you are there, I am not sharing it because of you all are there, but I am sharing with my experience. ACS already has a brand, but yes, once you reach to a level, to sustain it and to improve further itself is a challenge. So connect with the candidate is one thing which you have to focus on. Giving candidate experience. Please don't give any false commitment to the candidate under pressure. You will have lot of pressure from company, you will have lot of pressure from Surenji or Susanji, but please understand the practical aspect. If candidate is saying I am not ready to attend the interview in such a short notice, please understand. Try to put your points forward to Surenji or the HR manager for whom you are working. So if you start doing this thing, your brand image will become in the market. I'm not talking only about ACS, you yourself will become a brand, that this guy understands the problem of a candidate. As a recruiter, please try to practice empathy as much as possible. And when I am saying empathy for recruiter, it is applicable for everybody also. I'm not only for recruiter. Please try to put yourself into the shoes of candidate. If I have called you 2 hours back and saying that in 2 hours you reach from Ajmer to Jaipur to attend interview, how you will make it? So be practical, make a connect with candidate, understand business of your clients, build relationship with the HR manager, and be transparent as much as possible. That is what I can say at this point.
Okay, thank you. And what should be the ideal culture one company should opt?
So I will see, culture is a very big thing, right? But I will try to summarize it in a very small words. Respect, respect, and respect, right? So be respectful. If you are talking to your subordinate or you are talking to your senior, I have seen many companies, many firm where the person thinks I am at a manager level, so respect should come to me. I should not give it to others, right? So when you respect each other, right, when you understand the concern of each other, जो मैंने empathy वाला part आपको बताया, if one of your colleague is has not come to office due to some problem in his family, and you make a call to him in the afternoon asking that whether your wife or your kid is right or not, I mean he is fine or not, if I can help you anyway in work also, which you are assigned by your boss or somebody. So that little gesture will make the culture. Culture is not like you will build like a house or something. Culture is built by people, right? So your each and every action will contribute to the culture building. So it is the respect, it is understanding each other, right? It is about care. This is what I can say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sundar sir, for lovely session.
Thank you so much once again for each one of you for your time in weekend, and I have learned a lot from this session.
Even we have learned a lot from you for HR prospect, from candidate side and client side and both. And we will upload, for those who are here only, we will upload this recording on our FB page.
Sure.
Everybody can see, check the web, this video and all that. Right. And
Thank you so much
for coming
Thank you,
here
Sundar. Thank you
with
so
lovely
much.
session.
It was
Thank you so much. All the best.
It was very
so
immense
much,
pleasure to have you
Sundar.
with
Thank you
us.
so much, Suren. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, thank you.
Thanks to all.
Thank you all.
We would love to be on the next session. Those who are in this Zoom call right now with us, we would be coming up with the one more HR leader, that is Mr. Atish, and we would love to see you on board with all the questions, and we would be exploring some good knowledge with them as well. So please join us for the next session on the next Saturday, right? Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Okay.